If you're looking to move to Portugal, especially on the D7 visa, you've probably come to the realization that you need a housing contract. And with housing prices being on the rise, owners in Portugal wanting guarantors or a lot of cash up front, this can be one of the most frustrating and difficult parts of your application. But today we're bringing you guys a solution. Hey, expats and travelers, I'm Josh.
And I'm Kalie, and this is Expats Everywhere. So we're going to kick it over to Dallas because he is the expert on this, and he has come up with the solution as to how to do this. So Dallas, are you there? Can you hear us?
Hello, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on here. Thanks for having a solution. So we're going to have you share what you got,
Sure.
let the viewers see what's going on, and then we will, of course, answer questions as things come up.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, I'm a little shy on social media, so no video for me. So just
No worries.
Yeah, look at Josh and Kalie for entertainment, okay? So what I'd like to do is kind of go through, I have a boring old slide deck, but I have minimized it as much as possible and made it simple and modern, so I won't bore you with a bunch of long, boring slides. So let's go ahead. And I'm Dallas. I've been here in Portugal for, gosh, 6-7 years. I'm in my third year of my D7, maybe fourth. I've lost track. And I did everything backwards. I did everything from here back in the day when you could do that. So that's me. And the services we provide that I have a couple companies that I've created both in the United States and in Portugal. In the US, the specialty is virtual mail services and for South Dakota domicile for those international expats that are looking at moving to a specific state to strategize becoming an expat. PT-based virtual mail service for expats that are here and are maybe doing a little roaming around and they don't have a fixed address and they need to have a fixed mailing address. D7 medium-term housing lease and the D7 room lease. And that's really what we're going to focus on is the D7 medium-term and room lease.
That's right.
So
these awesome apartments that you've got.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little bit of montage on them. So on the D7 apartment lease, basically what this is, if you come into the program, for lack of a better term, you will receive a 6 or 12-month lease. And right now we're leaning more towards a 12-month lease as we get this proved out with VFS and CEF. However, the caveat to this lease is you have the option to exit after 3 months. And the strategy is that you do exit after 3 months after you find your long-term housing. So what that strategy does is let you get into the country. You're not stressed out. You're not like here on vacation or for a week or 3 weeks scouting, prospecting, like, I need to find my place. I can't find it. You can go ahead and do that. But if you don't find your place, come to us and we will get you that lease that you need for your VFS appointment.
Nice.
Our units are fully furnished and supplied with utilities. You don't have to sign up for utilities. You don't have to pay anybody to sign up for utilities. You don't have to give your DNA and the rights to your next child when you sign up for utilities. And the lease, this is really the big advantage, is the lease start date will be forwarded to when you are projected to arrive to Portugal.
That's
so you're not coming here, yes, and you're not leasing, paying all that money up front, and then leaving and hoping that it's only going to take 2 months to get your D7 stamp in your passport to arrive to your home, and then you rush here.
Okay. And Dallas actually has a slide that we're going to pop up just in a little bit that's going to show you actually how much money that you'll save going this route as opposed to paying forward for your contracts.
Yep. And especially when you're here looking for accommodations and you're stressed out because you're running out of time and then you make compromises that you probably wouldn't make. That's huge. Okay. And then the last, really the big value is we can e-sign your lease for your VFS appointment. And then you have that without having to rush documents to you over FedEx or whatever, depending on all the documents that support your packet that we help you build for your VFS appointment. We can do a FedEx, but if it's really like got to get it there, or if you're like some of our clients are in Southeast Asia, and so we can do the e-signing. So there you go.
Cool. Let's pause just there. Let Kalie talk about the Patreon thing that we've got going on. We're giving away one free membership to our Patreon. So if you want to explain that, explain that real quick.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, we have a Patreon page and we love our patrons. We thank them for the support because it gives us a little bit of stability. stability.
speak.
I know, stability, and just being able to do some of the cool things and the content we can put out. So Dallas has been so awesome, and he is going to gift a 1 year patron at the $10 tier support. So for that, the biggest thing that we like on that tier is that we have a patron only Skype chat. So what we do is we get on Skype, and all the patrons who are on there from those tiers can turn on their microphones, their videos, and they can actually join the conversation. So it's much different than what this is, because this is like us, and then we have to read your comments, and then we reply. But what's so awesome is that we get to see you guys, and we get to connect with you. And then our patrons are so great at helping each other, because for us, like, the biggest thing is we have always done things, I guess, a little differently. Like, for example, we don't ever ship anything, but we understand that a lot of people want to ship things, right? They are maybe moving here, and it's the thing that they're doing, so they want to ship some stuff. So they recommend good shipping companies or things like that. So the patrons are really great at helping out each other. So we really like that patron chat, because we get to know you guys, you get to know each other and help each other.
Yeah.
So
and we will explain how we draw the winner, when we draw the winner, a little later. Let's get back to these slides.
Awesome service that he's offering.
Okay, you can go ahead to the next. So the standard features are much different than what you would typically find in a furnished apartment here. And we get a lot of feedback from people that come and view our apartments or are in a furnished apartment, and then, talking to them in the meetups, like the meetup you guys had in Lisbon and so forth, and what they're experiencing and what they have in them. And many times you'll hear people say, well, the pictures had all these things in it, and then when we got there, none of them were there, and they said it was furnished and supplied. Or they say it's furnished and supplied, and they get there, and there's like just just minimal utensils and cheap pots and pans from the local Chinese store, around the corner, or maybe the bottom grade IKEA stuff. So we take extra effort to make sure that the you'll see some of the photos. The equipment in the kitchens is supplied to what an expat would want in their kitchen, and to be able to use, and all those different little miscellaneous things. The T1 and T2s have a 55-inch LED TV. The fiber internet, we always, if we can, and we so far, everything does have 1 gigabyte down and 200 megabyte up.
Nice.
A very unique feature as well is a private VPN to the US. This means it's not Nord, it's not VPN Express. All those commercial services, they work until they don't. And when they don't work is when you need them the most, when you get locked out of your bank account, or you checking your credit card or your debit card or whatever. And then we also include a multifunction printer for those things that you have to print out for your appointments or so forth. And then we also provide ample amount of bedding in different variations for the different seasons. And they are the higher quality, mostly from IKEA, that we provide on those. And then the beds also, we do provide a memory foam, the better, not the best, the good, better, best, the better IKEA mattresses, memory foam, and then we put a cushion top on top of it so people can change things out, and if they want it more firm, they can take off that cushion top or whatever you want to call that, or whatever. So they got options. And then really the key point is multiple work surfaces, both in the kitchen and in the areas for work. These places are designed for remote workers, for people who are maybe have, they're graphic designers or whatever, or they're still working through their other, US based job or whatever, or they're like you guys, they have their own YouTube channel. So those are the standard features that we put in every unit that we furnish.
That's really great, because I think a lot of people move here and they're having to move into unfurnished things. And when you have to do that, there's a lot of upfront costs that come with that, because you're having to literally furnish everything. Even the things that are partially furnished, or they say that they're fully furnished, but you don't have the kitchen utensils and kind of the finer things. If they furnished a bed and you're stuck with the good bed, but you want the better bed, what do you do with the good bed?
Bad bed?
Or a bad bed. Those exist too. You have grandma's bed from 40 years ago that they've gotten, and they've just stuck it in the apartment. Yeah. So all right, let's keep rolling.
Definitely. Okay. So with the TV, we have Apple TV. And we have a very unique feature that I don't think anybody else in Portugal has. We have Hulu TV. and we have live TV with that. So we have US-based live channels. All of the services here are subscribed and ready for you to use. You don't have to put in your own account. You can if you want, but you don't have to. And these are all paid. These are not anything that's hacked or torrented or anything like that. These are an actual services that we pay for. So they're
Amazing.
legit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's it for the TVs. Now, what I wanted to show here is our contracts, our leases
Make it
are,
big.
yeah.
Yeah.
We put a lot of energy and effort and reviews from advogados, both from our team as well as expats who have their advogados review the leases, and they provide input and they say, you know what, maybe this would be better or this, whatever. So we do very good and clear terms in our leases, and so it's very clear on the English on the left and the Portuguese on the right. Now, what I didn't put in this, I should have done that point, but to emphasize, in our leases, one of the last terms is that the lease comes in English and Portuguese, but English prevails.
Oh, nice.
So would that stand up in your Portuguese court? My advogados are not concerned, but
Okay.
yeah, just to be aware of that. So yeah, we make that clear that we want to make English the priority. So if there's any disparities, we want it to point to the English.
Okay. Let's roll on from the legal stuff if you're ready, because I think it might put some people to sleep.
Yep. Okay.
I will say though that that's important that they can read it in English. That
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
a concern. You don't have to download an app or get a translator or hire a lawyer to actually check the contract to make sure there's no sneaky clauses in there.
Right. Well, depending on who you go through, sometimes you will receive an English version as well as Portuguese.
Yeah.
It just depends. But
Lots of
this
Portuguese
is great.
though, and that
Oh,
concerns
of course.
people.
That's the local language.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So why don't we do this? We'll do it after this. We'll do the montage. So right now, then I see I'm kind of looking to the left on the stream here. Right now, we have started in Lisbon and Cascais. We actually started in Cascais, bumped over to Lisbon. We will be expanding out from here. And really why Lisbon and Cascais is because that is where Lusitano Dream started. Is here in actually between Lisbon and Cascais. So this is where we started. This is where our footprint started. We are going south. We are going north. Now, this whole program started in April, and we have 4 units. So scale that out if we continue on this track, and we are. We should scale up to Porto fairly. I'm hoping by the end of Q1 of next year, have options in Porto in that area.
Yes, come to Porto.
Yeah, I would love to. And it's just a matter of, I tell you, this takes a lot of work, and it is a lot of work to find the places, and we can talk about that later, and actually in furnishing them and supplying them. It's a lot of work, and really doing it intentional and not doing it their bare minimum, which you'll see in most furnished apartments.
Yeah,
so why don't we go ahead and do
absolutely.
that montage, and then I'll just kind of explain what that montage is about here. So this is Cascais Park Place. This is a very spacious living room, T1 bedroom, lots of space. I always put extra space there, beautiful sunrises. It looks out to the Sintra Mountains, lots of room there. This is Marvin's Garden in Lisbon, a brand new refurbished building. There's 2 work surfaces in the T2 in the 2nd bedroom, and tons of supplies and so forth in the kitchen, and lots of space on the counter. Counter space is awesome. Modern, good, high-end appliances in here.
Yeah.
And we always try to get washers that do combo. They dry and wash. This one here, it's another default, is putting in the filtered water in the fridge.
Yep.
And everything is usually full bed for space, but we are going to be doing queens. This is Skiffy. This is the small T0. It came out to be much better than I expected as far as maximizing the space for the room, and a huge patio in the back. And I call it the doghouse. That's for storage. And this is this is Cascais again. This is Boardwalk, and it's a beautiful T1. I love, this is my favorite unit so far. It's just beautiful. The dog is not included, everyone.
I was going to ask.
But this is my favorite. Great vibe in the community, beautiful overlooking the ocean, beautiful views. It really doesn't do it justice what you see. You can smell the sea air. It's awesome. And it's a nice building, beautiful green spaces right outside to walk. It's right out the doors. You see that there. So
Nice.
those are just a quick rundown of the places that we have. Okay.
I love how light and bright all of the units are. I feel like it will lend itself to being able to work
Yes.
better and feeling more positive, like mood uplifting for
Or
sure.
even it's not
Yeah, and I should have
working.
put.
I mean, just like your initial move, it's very happy, you know, like, because sometimes moving can be shocking, you know, the whole newness of it. But when you have a good living space, then you feel comfortable and ready to go.
Yeah, if you find yourself in like the basement somewhere and it's dark,
Moldy,
dingy,
stinky,
moldy,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not nice.
Very good point. Yeah. So on deck here, this one's been in queue for a while. A T1 in Lisbon, calling it Lofty Loft. It's a kind of a loft T1. It's on hold because of the city and permits. But it'll be hopefully ready soon. Monchique, that's what we're talking about expanding out. Monchique Algarve, that's actually a villa, and that's a special project. I can't show pictures of that right now, but that is going to be awesome if it comes to fruition. There's another villa in Mecco that you will see pictures of in Setúbal. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful beaches and stuff. It's amazing. It's right along the nature reserve, 200 meter walk to the beach. It's beautiful. Then the Quinta is a really cool project. It's on the Tejo River in Santarém, I think how you say it. Probably most people don't know it. It's about 45 minutes north of Loures. And it's a beautiful, the river valley, very green and plush. And the cool thing about this is a Quinta from some type of lord or something, and he had a big stud farm, and the owners have taken the ranch hand houses and is turning them into rentals. And we have access to those rentals, and you'll see those pictures. And here's the really cool thing for the Texans, if there's any Texans here, they encourage and want you to wild boar hunt. So you can hunt there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Even if you're not Texan and just think, hey, I'm going to try something different, might as well. When in Portugal.
Yeah, and this is it's a mare, a Lusitano mare farm. This is where all the mares are, and then all the studs are down in Setúbal. So it's a bunch of mares there, and I wouldn't be surprised if we could even work out horse riding as well as even possibly boarding. No promises, but it's possible. So let's go ahead and let's do the montage real quick on this. There's only really two. It's Mecco. Lagoa Albufeira is awesome. The beaches are incredible. It's stunning. And this is a 45-minute drive from Lisbon, guys. And here's the villa that going, the 200-meter walk. This is what you see. And it's stunning. And I'm really excited. This is the back of the villa. And there's the back of the villa that looks at. So this is the Setúbal.
Nice.
I'm sorry. This is the Quinta. These ranch hand houses, for lack of a better term, they're all vaulted ceilings and stuff. And there's some of the mares and a colt. Yeah. So there you go. So those are in process right now. These are all with relationships of property owners and so forth that are open to our model and are willing to say, hey, this sounds pretty cool. Yeah, we'll rent to you, and we'll allow you a sublease, and we'll allow you to furnish these and so forth. And typically what we do is we take a lot of the liability. We take a 3-year lease. We pay very large down payments. We're doing all those things so that our clients do not have to do those things.
Cool. You ready to get to kind of the nitty gritty?
Yeah. So what I wanted to show here is on a typical standard lease process. And I kind of mark the clock ticking is when you come here on a scouting or prospecting trip and you say, okay, we found our place, let's sign the lease. And I base this off of a $1,200 a month lease, which is an outdated amount. That's really unrealistic, really, these days to even find a $1,200, in this last month. But let's say it's $1,200, you put 3 months down at the front, and then you pay you're putting 4, but I want to split this up. You're putting 3 months, and then your 4th month is for month 1 of the 4,800. So you put the 3 months down, total 4. The clock starts ticking. You go back to the US in the next week to a month. VFS appointment. I have my lease in hand. Turn in that lease. Great. And then you're like, come on, please, 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 make this quick, make this quick. Could be 2 months, could be 4 months. Some people are even waiting longer than that. So I just say, let's go with 3. So in 3 months, you're waiting a total of 4 months, and you are looking at the a total of around 4,800 euro to in your monthly rent. That doesn't include the 3,600. So you put those two together, whatever that is, that's quite a considerable amount of money that you have to put up front to rent that and leave it sit empty. Then when you arrive, your leases typically go in thirds as far as giving 1/3 of your lease, you can give notice that's 120 days out. So if you don't want to stay there, you just arrive and you already have to make the decision to say to the landlord, yeah, we're going to move before our year is up.
Yep.
Or we're going to, within the 5, 6, 7, 8, you can say we want to move, but that gives you have to give them 120-day notice. So it's not like you can say at the beginning of a month, we're going to move next month, we're done. You have to give 120-day notice. So then in those first 4 months, you're going to get you're realizing you need to furnish your apartment, even though it said it was furnished. You're having to go get a lot of supplies that you didn't have, blah, blah, blah. And then you are like, move or stay. And do we want to renew this lease? If they allow you to renew it, you've got to do that at month 8. So you're not even to your self appointment. You're like, do we stay? Do we move? What do we do? And then if you decide to move, then you would have to be at the end of your, or if they say, no, we're not going to renew it, or yes, we'll renew it, but it's going to be 300 more a month. Then you have 4 months to make that decision, not make that decision, but to move. And then you have your self appointment. So let's say your self appointment is about at end of month 9 or 10. Then you've got 3 months to find a new place and so forth. And so there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of things compacted in this 1 month or this 1 year lease here. So under our program, and if you want to go to the next slide, any questions there on that one?
I mean, from us, no, because we really understand it. If you guys have any questions, throw it into the chat and we'll get to them after we finish the slide deck. Right?
Because Dallas, you can explain kind of how your service makes it better and more cost effective.
We're getting great questions in the comment section. So keep it up, guys.
We'll get to those.
We'll get you registered
and just so
become our patrons. If
anybody asks, our prices are the same as any other furnished apartment, guys. So it's not like there's some huge price. We are in the $1,200 to $1,400 range for T1s and T2s, $950 for a T0. I think that's a pretty reasonable price. Okay. So just to throw that out there, that we're not going to get through this whole thing and say you're going to be paying Airbnb prices. You're not. Okay.
Right.
So in our program, whether you come here or not, whether you left and you left defeated, you didn't get your, or if you're international, like, some of my clients, they're like, Southeast Asia, and they can't come here, or it's not feasible. You sign the lease and you put a deposit of 500 euros. So basically a commitment to sign the lease. And then you do that within a month of your VFS appointment. We don't like to rush it. It does happen, but we like to get it done a month before your VFS appointment. You go to your appointment, you put it in your lease, whatever, you wait your 3 months. You're not paying anything. The apartment is held for you. Then the clock starts ticking once you arrive. There is one more pay. We'll see. I didn't put in there is a payment once you get your D7, you get your passports back. Then you make one more payment.
Okay.
And then once you arrive here, you pay 2 more months. In fact, you'll see on the next slide, I've actually been flexible with that. But you really don't pay until you arrive here and you walk in, you say, oh, this is legit. then we meet you and then show you the place, and then you make your final payment. And in that time, then you have paid for your first 4 months. Okay. Then you have 4 months to look and strategize and really hunt and be diligent to find your longer term lease in that 3 to 4 months. between 3 and 4 months, we would like to say, okay, we have another client coming in on month 5. You have this much time to get your lease. Now, what's really important here is to emphasize is we really don't want people to extend out for the whole year, because that's going to minimize the opportunity for other people.
For other people.
Yeah. And we really need to emphasize, everybody wants it for a year. It's like, oh, this is so awesome, I want it for a year. If we did this for a year, we couldn't scale, and we'd serve one client per property per year, and we want to serve 3 or 4.
That's right.
So there you go. A lot less stress, a lot less financial,
But it's a lot less upfront money that you burn, I think, that ends up happening.
Well, to me, and this is to be like super transparent with you, the viewer. When we heard about this service, we were really excited. So as soon as we found out that it was good for the D7 or good for that part of the application where you need a housing contract, we were really excited, because I think it benefits the person that's renting to get here, get your D7, get here, have 4 months to be in a place, 3 or 4 months to be in a place, and then be able to find that home that you really want to be in. Because it can be hard trying to do this from abroad. Like, we recognize that. We took a shot whenever we moved here, when we rented our place. In a way, we lucked out. In another way, we also had, a flood.
Yeah, ceiling leaking issues, but
I mean, it is what it is.
It happens. Excuse me. I would say this though. One thing that's really important is that this is done in the legal way as well. So anyone who might worry, like, can I do this? It's completely legal by Portuguese law how this works.
Yes, absolutely. And that's important. We have gone through legal review both on, like I said, internally and also with clients. So here's an example of some current clients that are onboarding, and broke things out for them to give them a little bit more wiggle room on their upfronts, so they have a little bit more to roll over to their long term. And they didn't even ask for this. They weren't even hemming and hawing about the total price. I just offered it to them. And the other reason is they're coming in at Marvin's, which is at 14, but I want to give them Boardwalk because it's awesome, and they've been awesome clients, and so that is going to be at 16. So I wanted to give them a little bit more flexibility, so they can they have the not put too much in this, because you have to turn around when you get your long-term place. You have to put in an investment there as well. So in this here, the rental security deposit when they sign the lease is €500, and then the first month rent when they receive their D7 stamps, is $1,400. And then they pay when they receive the keys. I'm only asking them to pay $1,400, and then on the second month they're paying the second month of $1,400. Then they already paid the last month if they are there for that 3 months. So the subtotal is $4,700, and then if they get their security deposit back, which I am very confident they will, their outlay is $4,200, and we do a very good job on vetting our customers and stuff. So I'm really not, that's why we've lowered it down to 500. Typically it's a deposit is minimum is 1 month. So that's how that's going to work. And then if they do move over to Boardwalk, they were concerned about that, and I said, Seth has your lease for here, you're good to go, and then we will just do an internal change over to the new lease and put an addendum to the lease. Everything's good, everything's legit, you're fine.
Yeah, we actually had to do the same thing
when our ceiling leaked.
When our ceiling leaked, and we changed addresses, and we had to then have an addendum put in the lease, and basically explain that we're now in a new place and new address, still owned by the same person. But
Yep. So that's gives people an idea of what they would have to do for payment, or what they would expect their layout to be. And then with this, we mostly we do Wise to our PT bank account. So there you go.
Sweet. Next.
Sure. Room lease. Now this is a creative solution to a big challenge. This was an idea that was brought about by a couple of our advogados that came up with this. So not really came up, but just planted the seed for this. We have a T5 in the interior. It's near Castelo Branco, and the T5 is we are renting rooms out, and the advogados have said that T5 room, or not T5, but room leases do work for your proof of housing, proof of accommodations. So the lease will almost be identical as an apartment lease. However, the cost is absolutely much less, and $200 per month per room. Double occupancy, so you would never do a lease with a stranger. It would be like a couple, or one person would rent the whole room. And then the important thing about this is we do not oversubscribe this like many of the shady services do. They'll sell this to multiple people, hoping they don't go to the same consulates, and then they, connect the dots and say, "Wait, what? Scam!"
Right.
So it is locked to the person who has the room for the amount of time that they have rented it. We like to rent those in blocks of 3 months.
Okay.
This lease includes supplemental documents. This is very important. These supplemental documents include a utility bill that's to our empresa here in our company in Portugal. It includes documents to show that it's habitable by the freguesia. And we also include with this a termo da responsabilidad, a TOR. We call it a TOR. And that's something nobody else that I'm aware of will give you a room or a house lease with a TOR. So we provide both as just backup safety insurance. If they say, nope, this isn't legit, because consulates are consulates, you have a TOR that goes with this as a companion in this packet of information that we provide. So when you go through your SEF appointment or your VFS appointment, you have all this document, you're renting a room. Now, this room is a placeholder for you. You then have the ability to go wherever you want, do Airbnbs, do one-offs, do people who, have a vacation home and they want to rent it for 3 months, but they don't want to go through finances and stuff because it's just a temporary thing. You will have the ability then to go roam around and do whatever you want, but you still have the paperwork to get you here into the country.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a question?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to let you guys know so you don't have to Google it. Castelo Branco, you can Google it if you want. Central Portugal. It's on the interior, fairly close to the Spanish border.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. One thing with the room lease, I'm getting people that want to live there. Okay. And we'll talk more about that, if people who want to have some more information on that. But really, ideally, it's people who are looking for property or have a budget to be, renting Airbnbs, going up to wherever they want to go, and and they're going to still be spending $1,400 a month in their rent. They're just not committing to a long-term lease. Okay, that's very important to understand. I don't want people to think that, yay, I'm scot-free for €200 a month. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I think we haven't done a video yet on Castelo Branco, but it's a place that we want to visit and we want to film for you, and we want to show you all, just how great the city is. A lot of people are looking at Castelo Branco to be a home in Portugal for them. So yeah, we hope to highlight that pretty soon.
Okay.
Let's talk about why this is such a brilliant
everyone's
idea
talking about.
and what has caused such a problem within the market, really.
Right. And, a lot of people don't talk about this. And I think some of it is politics and geopolitics. They don't want to get into this.
Dallas.
Yeah, but I'm going to talk about it. So housing inflation is a worldwide phenomenon. It's happening everywhere. If it's not just Portugal, it's even people in the U.S. I have one client that had a consultation, and they're in the western United States. They went from $950 to $1,400 on a T2, and they're like, I just can't continue this. So housing inflation is happening everywhere. People are moving, trying to find a more economical place to live. Yes, housing housing inflation is impacting here, but there's lots of other expenses that you're going to lower to compensate for that.
Yeah.
This is a big one. Eastern European conflict. Every day, majority of my inquiries for my properties are people from the Eastern European conflict, mostly Ukrainians. These are highly qualified renters. These are upper middle class or higher. They have U.S. jobs. They work remote. They are technical savvy. They have the incomes. A lot of them are coming in saying that they have €10,000 a month income. They have very their tastes are very particular. They want furnished, they want modern, and they are one of the reasons if you're not getting callbacks, if you're losing leases, these people are coming in and saying, okay, well, I'll pay more. I'll pay more than what you're asking. Okay.
Whoa. Okay.
And then this is a new one, the Russia Belarus brain drain. I have a client who has some business relations in Kazakhstan, and there's an open border between Russia and Kazakhstan, and the hotels are full of young, educated, college, tech savvy men who are fleeing Russia because of the situation elevating. And I saw a news report that over 100,000 had been taken up, have staged out of Russia into Kazakhstan, and then are going south into Europe. And of course, they're going to the warmer climates. With the Eastern European and the Russian Belarus brain drain, a lot of companies are doing pop-ups here in between Cascais and Lisbon, maybe even north. And what they're doing is not only they're bringing their employees here, but they're not giving them, but they're helping them with housing. They're helping them get their leases and so forth.
Yeah.
So they're coming here with money to have get their apartments. The EU energy crisis, I'm seeing this as well. People are especially more of the nomads who travel around Europe. They are coming more south where it's warmer and less expensive. We are not reliant on Eastern European resources for here in Southern Europe as much as like Germany, France, and so forth. So a lot more people are coming this way for that reason. And then lastly, there's golden visa restrictions. I have a client who wants to buy a house, and they could have purchased it under the golden visa, and also because of the market's so unknown and iffy right now, people are like, I'm not going to throw a bunch of money into a house. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to do a D7, see how the market looks. I'm not going to buy high and sell low. So people are coming in on a D7 versus a golden. They're getting they're looking for the nicer places. They're putting the 6 months, maybe a year down to rent, and because they're going to look for something to buy. So these are the things I see every day from my rentals that I have on Idealista.
Cool. Tips for success.
Okay, so tips for success. These are some of the things that if you come into the program that we help you with. Now, it's not an accident that we have 4 and growing units and properties. We have a strategy, and we share that strategy with you. We are not agents. We're not going to help specifically find you a place, but we're going to give you tips and tricks and hacks that will help you. One of the first recommendations that I have and what I've been successful at is creative. You have to be strategic and creative. Okay. I'm sorry, but being an Idealista all night long and sending a 500, I want to view your apartment. I want to view your apartment. That is not creative and strategic. Okay. That's like looking for a job on LinkedIn. Okay. You have to think 3D chess, not checkers. You have to be running multiple angles. The most successful way you have to do things is being here, not having an agent be here doing your work for you, or relocation companies are better than just having an agent. You would be more successful with the relocation agency, but you have to be here. You have to be shaking hands, meeting people, talking to people, asking the right questions. So really, you have to be running in parallel. You're not playing checkers. And the definition of insanity is really important. Okay. Everybody does the same thing. You see it on the Facebook forums and stuff, and they all get the same results. Okay. And then there'll be one person that gets lucky, and really it is most of the time it's luck. And so you have to be remembering that if you do the same thing everybody else is doing, you're vying for the same strategy and the same properties as everybody else. Okay. So it's very important to consider that. And I would say of these, the most important is you have to build authentic community. You have to. If your community is Facebook and the Facebook groups, and that's your only community, good luck. You have to, like expats everywhere. You got to be meeting people. You got to go to the meetups. You have to be, directly communicating with people and connecting, making those connections. That's really, really important. If you're here on a scouting or prospecting trip, go to the meetups. See if there's something going on with expats everywhere. Make time, make that a priority, because you are going to learn people's tips and tricks, and you're going to learn so many different things that way. And really, it is not what you know by reading all the forums and stuff. It's who you know. It is really, really crucial to learn to know the right people that have properties that are available. You build a relationship with them. You build trust, and like, yeah, my this T1, T2 is going to be, it's under construction. It's going to be ready in 2 months. And yeah, let's talk about setting up a lease and you guys can have it. That's what you need to look for. And you have to budget 4 to 6 months rent to secure a lease. It's just the reality. And if you can't budget 4 to 6 months, whatever your range is for your lease, not including what you put in for your SEF, what you've secured into your bank account. Outside of that, if you don't have 4 to 6 months rent to secure a lease and you plan to come here and wing it, you're really going to be, it's going to be a challenge. And I do know people that have done that and it has not worked out well. They end up sharing a T1 or a T2 with one bathroom with their friends and they're miserable. So that's, yeah, those are those. So value your resources and promote and pay them well. Okay, we are not volunteers. We are in the trenches. We live, eat, and breathe what's going on here, and we see opportunity to help other people. And we are trying to build a business and be viable here. And so it's really important to, when you get someone's attention and they are a resource for you, really value that. And it doesn't mean you just have to pay them, but to help promote their business. Go to the Facebook groups and say, hey, I talked to this person. They helped me with this. They can help you with your exact same situation. They rock. That's really important to do that. And let them know that you did that. So many times I see people, they get helped and then they're off. They're done. We're taken care of and we're done. And part of that too is I'm challenged because I'm not in social media and stuff like that. So I think you guys have more success than me, and that's why I'm here, having you guys explain this program. This is a big, perfection is the enemy of progress. People come here with unrealistic requirements for what they want. They want a terrace that looks out to the Tagish. They want a patio in the back that looks out to the mountains of Sintra at the same time in the same place. They want the trolley 25 steps away from their front door. They want the metro around the corner. They want all their favorite shops right out front. They want split units in every room. They want a energy certificate of B or better. They want all of these things. And if you come here with those, it's going to really be a challenge. You have to you got to really see, what do I have to have? And when you're come here, if you have all these requirements, you're going to really have a challenge. Save those requirements for your longer term rental. Securing a home with idealists is like finding your soulmate on Tinder. Okay. And I really mean that. I heard many people have success on online dating, but if the odds are very low. And if you are just working on Idealista and if that's your strategy, good luck. Good luck.
That's so true. So true.
And I'm telling you, 95% of the people inquire about my properties, I don't answer back. I don't reply. I don't. And it's unfortunate, but you can't, because you just get hit by so many requests, and people are like, they're counter offering and they're like, oh, we've got 3 kids and we want a T1 and blah, blah, blah. And it just, I just don't, very few, and I respond back. And if you are on the Delista and you do get a owner or a selling agent respond back, make that your priority. Treat that like gold, because most of the time you will hear nothing, just like Tinder.
Yeah.
So, and this is really important too. Selling agents and landlords, the market, there's so many, for 100, units, there's maybe 1,000 or more people vying for those available units. And selling agents and landlords are avoiding buyer agents like the plague. So if you think your strategy is to pay someone to find your place, that is going to be a very unsuccessful strategy. There are caveats to that, more on a one-on-one, or maybe in your Patreon group we can talk about, because that's a lot. There's a lot of details to unravel with that. But selling, it's not like a strategy to have nobody wants to deal with selling agents anymore. Because why? You have so many people that lining up, to look at your place. Why would you share your commission with the selling agent? And it's just, if that's what the selling
With the
agent,
buyer's agent.
I'm sorry, with the buyer's agent. Sorry,
Yeah.
yes. So why would the seller's agent said, sure, I'll split half of my commission with you, and I have 100 other people that want to rent this from me. Sure. Okay. So that's really important. Don't put all your eggs in that basket of a buyer's agent. A relocation agency is different. I think you'll have better success with them, but just saying, oh, I found a buyer's agent on one of the commercial real estate, rental companies, that's going to, you could get lucky, and people may disagree with that, but you'll have a lot less success with that strategy.
Yeah. And there are some agents out there who will act, they're buyer's agents, but who will act as like relocation agents. So
they
there's
do it
like
the right way.
a hybrid
Yes.
way to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's probably time to jump into the comments. It seems like it is that time. So if you guys have left a comment, we're going to try to get to it right here. I know one thing that popped up that I want to have you address real quick, if you don't mind, is about your website.
Oh.
Yeah. Like some people are saying they've been to your website, it's down. So if you can just explain that.
Yeah. So we never had a website. The web dev, they were building it, and this morning, I shut it down because it's not finished. We really don't even use the website. We use Idealista.
Yeah. I mean, currently with 4 units, if you had a website, I think you'd be inundated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't even
intentionally. How do you want people to contact you after seeing this or from seeing this? What would be your preferred way?
I would prefer that. I prefer that if you guys are okay with it, I prefer that they contact you. Is that okay?
Yep.
I would prefer that
because
either one. You can do info@expatsEverywhere.com or
contact@expatsEverywhere.com, and just in the subject line put Dallas or put Lusitano Dreams, either one, and then we'll know how to connect you.
It's kind of like the story, like the painter has the ugliest house on the block, or the home improvement guy has a living room that's half finished, or a kitchen. There's just not enough hours in the day to do this, and really right now our focus is getting the properties up and running, spun up, getting them rented, and then marketing this through other channels. We do no SEO. I will not give a dime to SEO. I'm holding firm on that, and I really would rather work with platforms like you guys and work together to get this out there. So someday we'll have a website, but it's not a priority.
Cool. Okay. Are there dryers in your units, or do you have drying racks?
Yes. So that's a good question. Most of them have combos where the washing machines will also dry. But what I recommend to people, and people kind of poo-poo my idea, is the what do you call the laundromats, where you can self-serve. They have a name from here, I can't remember, but they're almost around every corner. And what I tell people is, take your laundry when you can't dry it outside or whatever, because it's damp for 3-4 days.
Right.
Bring it there, and in 20 minutes or less, it's like under €2, under €3.
They're industrial dryers. So
yes,
you put a lot in, and
they're really and if you dry your clothes at home, even if it's in a standalone dryer, you're using a ton of utilities. And it takes like an hour or 2 hours to dry your clothes. They're different here. It's not like back home, because they're not vented and stuff like they are back home. And one thing I didn't emphasize is I kind of said we include the utilities, and that is with a budget. We don't give unlimited utilities. And so if you reach your budget and but you want to dry your clothes because we're not America here. You gotta flex a little bit on that. And most people dry outside, but you can dry in a pinch in most of the dryers or most of the washing machines they do have a drying function. What I like to do is dry them for maybe a half an hour in there to get the wrinkles out, and then hang dry them, or the inverse, so they're not all wrinkly and and crunchy when you take them
Dallas,
off.
I hate to cut you off, but people have a lot of questions.
Okay, sorry.
Let's keep rolling, man.
No, please.
Let's keep rolling.
I saw one on pets.
Hold on. Let's do this one real quick. If a consulate go ahead.
If the consulate accepts the terms of accommodations, can SEF reject them? So just to clarify, when you send your stuff through VFS, or if you go directly to the consulate, SEF is the one who is approving or denying your visa.
Yeah.
So SEF, this is the immigration body.
Mm-hmm.
They are the ones who are checking the housing contracts. So when you come here and you do that final appointment in the country, you're meeting with SEF, but SEF has already looked at your paperwork.
Yeah.
So it's the same.
Yeah. Okay. We have a question about, are Dallas's units in Lisbon? Yes, 2 of them are in Lisbon, 2 of them are in Cascais, and he is expanding. We have another question. Are the housing options for Lago do Toral area of Guimarães?
That's up in the north.
No, but could be expanding there, but not currently.
So what I would really quick say about that really quick is do the room lease and go there and find something.
Okay. There we go. Let's keep going.
I saw some stuff about pets. I think that was
we're about to get there,
okay. I don't want to jump ahead, but oh no, bummer about the dog. That was the dog is not with the okay. Thanks so much for great efforts and support. If possible, help to find apartment in Lisbon or a little bid from Lisbon T0 T1 for 12 months lease or more.
Well, this option doesn't really help, but if you want to email Kalie at info@expatsEverywhere.com, she'll get you connected. Townhouses too. I mean, we have the room lease thing, not quite the same.
Well, townhouse would maybe be with a bit of a yard or something.
Nah, I don't know. What are the rental prices? Could you say that again real quick? What the rental prices are?
Right now the T1s. The T1s. One in Cascais is 14. The other one is 16. That's a little higher. It's a premium property, and it also depends on what we get it at our price too. Then we have to do our markup. And then the T0 is 950, and the T2 right now is 1400 in Lisbon.
Okay. Are any of the schools or any of the locations near international schools?
Cascais, yes. Well, I don't know what near means. What that would. Yeah. So Cascais, there's a lot of international schools in Cascais, and I guess with the grade schools they're talking about, the universities, there's a lot of them near with the 2, because I get tons of students requests. But for international, what do you call it, grade schools, I have no idea.
Okay. Do you think that you'll be in Porto sometime? Well, you said actually Q1.
I'm hoping, and a Q1.
The hope is to be in Porto. So yes, Carrie.
And we don't know any other service that is like this. So Dallas, come on up to Porto.
Come on up to Porto. This is an interesting one.
If we have Irish passports and don't need a D7, do we still need to have a lease signed before shipping? No, you don't. As an Irish passport holder, you can just come here and register because of the Schengen. But if you want accommodations, you want to have a place set for a few months, and then you can kind of do your scouting once you get here, then this is a good option for you.
Yeah.
Good question, Sally.
Great question, Sally.
You don't need a housing contract though with an Irish passport.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you don't have to do the D7. Madeira, I think that's coming soon, right?
Anything in Madeira?
No. I have no. That market there is just like here. And it really is because I just don't have any connections there. It's really about relationships and connections, and I don't have any there.
Okay. We had a question that you quasi addressed, I think, talking about the utilities. You're talking about the dryer usage. So do leases reflect all utilities and amenities that are included in the rent?
Yeah. So with how that works is the internet is all inclusive. It's not included in the budget. Right now we're doing a budget of €75 for gas, water, electric. It depends. Some units are just electric only and water. So water and whatever else it has, 75. Some people go over, say, hey, here's what you got. You're a little over, just watch it next month. It's not like, oh, you're over here. You owe €8. But really people are keeping in that. If I had unlimited, I think people would have no motivation to, to mind their uses. So it seems to be in line with €75.
Okay. Kaylee, I think you could address this question from Why You Trippin'. One of my favorite
I know.
avatars. I love that.
Yeah, the pineapple with
Pineapple.
sunglasses. After the 4 months, do we still need to find a 1-year lease? What if we just want to move around and Airbnbs every month?
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah.
Right.
Okay. Sorry, just cut you off there, Kalie.
No, go ahead, Dal.
So if you haven't had your self appointment yet after 4 months, there's some strategic things you could do. We could talk about those in more details. It all depends on the situation. If there's no one ahead of this person, they say, hey, next month is my appointment, and there's nobody in line for the next month, or let's say the next person's coming a month after, so that they could be there for 5 months. Say, yeah, you can stay there for 5 months. Or if there's another unit with a month open, yeah, you can move to that unit, maintain a lease. Then you can put that lease in
Right.
for your self appointment, however you want to call it, Kalie. And then once you got that into your self appointment, you are scot free for at least a year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, until you have your renewal, really. I mean,
Right.
despite taxes, that's a whole different thing. That's finances, but you have to deal with that as well. But
Yep.
as far as your visa,
Yep.
you're good for 2 years until you have your renewal. Currently is what it is.
That
2
is a
years.
good call to bring up the tax issue, because we kind of end up running into that. We can talk about that at a different time, but that's a good point.
But yeah, as far as your visa goes, you're covered.
This is the our
Ooh,
pets welcome.
pets. Yeah, I saw a few of them
comment.
actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We'll
Dallas,
stick with this one.
How big are the rooms? They're all variable. Your typical standard, I don't know, T2s are 70 maybe. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the square meters of the units. They are on Idealista. What they're kind of their square meters are of them. Pets is a good conversation. Pets are allowed, but it's conditional on the size of the pet and the number of pets. There are some conversations about that. There are certain questions we ask, and how those questions are answered will determine. It's not just yes, pets are automatically. They are pet friendly. Absolutely, I love pets. I have pets. A lot of people come here with pets, so there's just a lot of variables. So we're open to the discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
He didn't like it.
Not happy about that.
I just woke him up.
It's too
Yeah.
late for that.
He's like, leave me alone, let me sleep. He's a little guy.
I think, yeah, we can answer this really quickly. Does a relocation agent have more success because they ask you for the money rather than the landlord?
You guys want to answer that?
Go ahead, Kalie.
Well, Dallas, I think you have a little bit, you have experience with
Yeah,
this.
I think where the relocation agent is more valuable is because relocation agents can be more, they're an advocate for you more. And in my opinion, and they're going to say, okay, this is what I think. This is your strategy should be. You should offer 6 months rent, blah, 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 blah. And they know, oh, this is the area here is a good place to focus on. So I think a relocation agency will provide more concierge services for someone than a buyer's agent. If you were to make a distinction between when I say a buyer's agent, is you go to Century 21 or Remax and you talk to one of those people, and they say, and they're typically a new person that's just, they're cutting their teeth in real estate, and they'll take on the renting market. They don't want to deal with it. They want to sell and buy properties.
Yeah,
that's where
that's how they'll make considerably more money. Yep.
Question,
here's a good question. So do you need residency permit before you can get the lease? Kalie.
Well, Dallas as well. I mean, you need to get your residency permit. Dallas, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to say you go for it. You can answer that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So as part of the D7 requirement is you need a housing contract. So you need your lease to get your visa. And then once you get your visa and you have your in-country appointment with SEF, then you get your residency permit. So you need this lease first as part of the visa process, the visa application.
Yeah. Mike is asking a question. Is it still possible to find apartments for less than $100 or euros?
1,000.
1,000. Sorry. No. 1,000 in places like Porto. The housing situation sounds horrific.
Well, it depends on size because Dallas, you have a place that's 950.
Well, I was also going to say
T0.
Porto, it totally depends on size. I think now T2's city center, you're going to be hard pressed, but it's still possible. Are things being overrun by expats?
Oh,
that's debatable. I just think that in general, there's a lot of people that are wanting to move into the cities if they can afford it. Porto's an awesome city, so it's like, why wouldn't you want to live in Porto? And Lisbon, a ton of people love Lisbon as well. I mean, Lisbon's been on the map for a number of years now. and gone through some pretty incredible changes over the past 10 years. So yeah,
It's
they're
not
really,
being overrun.
they're really
but
popular. Yeah,
it's growing.
I think that would be dramatic to say it's overrun, and we'll see if there's a correction. But
And one thing I do is I'm very transparent in what I pay for my properties unfurnished. Well, actually, some of them are furnished but supplied. They're not supplied with okay. So that's a good thing to differentiate. In Portugal, when you see a listing that says furnished, that means it has appliances. That doesn't mean it has. There's some that mix the two, that doesn't have any furniture or anything like that. Then when they say furnished, it has washer, dryer, blah blah blah. And in traditional apartments, you have to bring your own.
right,
Supplied means it has the kitchen has all the utensils and the pots and pans and blah blah blah. Sometimes you'll see things that say, yeah, it's furnished, but it's only the washer and dryer and stuff. You really have to be careful with that. And they'll even show you things with beds and stuff, but they're not there when you get there. So you have to really be careful with that. Yeah. So just to answer that question, my T1, my T2 at Marvin's in Lisbon, I paid $950 for it with appliances, but not, just completely empty. $950. Today that would be $1,100 at least. And I got it this summer. My T1 Lofty Loft, $850. Now it's up to $950 as we're waiting for permits because I haven't signed the lease yet. And he's like, sorry, it's just the way the market's going. I said, I get it. So I'm looking at a T1 completely empty with appliances for $950. So, and one thing to answer too is, we spend about at least $5,000 furnishing a T1.
Yeah.
So put that expense in there too. It's a lot more than you think to furnish from scratch without your shipping your stuff from America.
Yeah.
All right, great
guys.
stuff.
I just wanted to say this one on air. So the winner from all you guys asking questions, and then even people after this is done, if you have questions or comments that you want to put into the playback, the winner will be drawn on our next live stream. So we did a live stream and asked you guys if you were interested in hearing the ladies talk.
Of course you were.
and that had an overwhelming response. So
everyone's welcome.
Everyone's welcome. I'll be there. I'll be manning the keyboard. So the live stream is going to be on November 5th at 10 p.m. So that's in 2 weeks. And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, please do that now because you'll be notified whenever we do go live or whenever we put out new videos.
That's going to be a fun one.
Help us grow.
Group of ladies talking about the really important things like what shoes to wear in the winter, in the rain.
Well, it won't just be that. So what we've noticed, and if you guys have watched our interviews with Kalie and other females, is you guys do a great job of digging into kind of nitty gritty that sometimes me and the guys, we gloss over. Like we look at the surfacey things where you guys go into details.
Realistic.
You like to chat.
Oh yeah.
So it should be
real.
It should be a fun time. That's where you guys can come and join us and ask any questions you all want to. Dallas, do you have any kind of parting words or remarks you want to leave us with?
Yeah, just back to my website. It's kind of embarrassing, but I didn't even know it was live until you told me, Josh.
Right.
And then I had to get my web dev on message and say, shut it down. It's not supposed to be, because there's no contact information. There's nothing there.
Right.
So no worries. So if people want to get in touch with Dallas after they see this, they want to ask more questions, totally cool. You can send an email to info@expatsEverywhere.com if you want to chat with me, or if you want to chat with Josh, contact@expatsEverywhere.com. Don't forget to, I think you have 48 hours to write a comment after this live stream finishes so that you can be entered into the patron drawing, which we'll do, like Josh said, in 2 weeks. But that's a really great place to be and great resources there. So check out our Patreon page too.
That's right. And it's time. Let's get moving.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining us.